Well, g'day and welcome to the channel. In today's video, I want to explore why so many people are investing in the Micro Four Thirds system. How am I going to do that? I'm going to use the gear in the field. That is the best way to find out what the gear is all about. Share photos with you, and I'm going to do that in the field first, and then I'm going to come back to the studio and give you some comparison shots with Canon, my overall feeling, let you download the files yourself, and get a better appreciation of what this system offers. And before we jump into the field, a massive thank you to every single one of you. I just hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm very humbled, I'm grateful. Never thought this day would come. I would have been happy with 1,000. So to reach this milestone is an achievement for me, and I'm very, very happy. A big thank you to my beautiful members that support me directly. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do what I love. So thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed already, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. It just means my videos will show up in your feed. All right, let's head into the field and have a lot of fun.
Well, g'day and welcome to the channel. I can't believe it. This tree is full of Corellas, absolutely chock-a-block. I've got the OM System OM1 II, and I've got the 100-400 version 2. And what I'm going to try and do is get some bird in flight. So you can see all these birds flying. Got a stacked sensor, so we're not going to get any rolling shutter. So now I just need to try and track these birds and get some photos. What I'm going to do is sort of watch the behavior of the birds so I can figure out where they're going, flying from, and where they're flying to then try and get a good shot. I've got the sun coming over my shoulder to light up the bird. What I want is the bird's wings sort of banking in full light with no shadow. There you go. Yeah. Oh, here we go, here we go. Got one. Oh, I think we might have got one there. So what I want to happen hasn't quite happened yet. I really want the birds banking this way. You would think with so many birds it'd be a lot easier, but I'm struggling, to be honest. They all seem to be flying in the wrong direction. Just a bit of a bummer. It's always tough when you've got an idea in your head and you've got a plan and it just doesn't quite come together. There's loads of birds, but they're just not flying this way. All right, we might go for a walk and see if there's something else that catches our attention. All right, keep looking. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a massive weir here. So there's a big lake, and then the water comes to the weir and then flows through. Okay, so I've just spotted an incredible opportunity, and I don't know why I didn't see this earlier, but under the bridge, as the weir's coming down, the water's heading up, all this mist coming up, there's swallows flying through the mist, and from this angle, I think I can get the swallow with the mist as the background. This is exciting, I'll show you. So we've got swallows flying here, so let's try and make a shot. What makes this so amazing is it's so unique. Like, you wouldn't think of it. I'm just trying to line myself up. What I want is the water and the mist and the swallow. I'm at 3200th of a second. We're at ISO 400. And we're just waiting for some swallows. We've got eye tracking, we're at wide. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, we might have just got a shot there. It's happening, I can't believe it. Yes, 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 yes. That was a lot of fun. Oh, I think we got it. I think we got it. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah. Oh. This is unbelievable. The camera is picking up these swallows in the mist and tracking them. It's unbelievable. I don't know how to describe that feeling of seeing a shot and then getting a shot. I really hope that came out, those shots, because it wasn't something I envisaged. You know, I knew the weir was here, but I'd never seen that shot. And it just by exploring, I saw the swallows coming out of the mist and something triggered in my brain going, there's a shot there. And that's what it's all about, is just going for a walk and identifying a shot when you see it and then trying to implement it. You know, it's obviously we've got quite a big depth of field, which helps pick up the birds. On your bigger lenses with narrow depth of field, it's much harder. So that's one bonus of Micro Four Thirds, is that extra depth of field. And so now I'm just thinking about, the sun's starting to get down. I'm thinking, what other shots can I get? We've got all the corellas in a tree, which is pretty cool. It's like a corella tree. Can't fit it in. We've got too much focal length. All right, so the sun is definitely dropping and I'm in two minds of what to do. There's another spot that I know of which is quite good for sunset, but it's been an amazing session here at this weir, just unbelievable. Let's make a move and see if we can get some sort of shot with the sun coming down. All right, so I've moved location again and I've just come across a pretty incredible scene. We've got a cormorant on a log, the sun is setting and there's lots of sandflies, I think, flying, and I'm just trying to make a shot. What I might do is walk towards it and hopefully it will look at me and we'll be able to capture a shot. It's a bit of a bummer. I've just noticed it's actually a man-made box that it's sitting on, which is, I don't like it, so we'll try and find something else. Got a swamp hen. Oh, this is pretty amazing. Okay, so we've got the sun coming down. We've got cormorants, we've got ducks. Absolutely stunning. And I'm just walking in this vegetation here. Oh, it's absolutely amazing. The sun's definitely almost gone, so I'm just trying to make shapes. Oh, we've got the sun coming directly through this cormorant. This is incredible. Oh, amazing. So we've got birds flying in between trees and I'm trying to capture them with the sun. Here we go. Oh, that was epic, absolutely epic. We had a bird flying in front of the sun. Oh my, oh, this is, oh, I don't know quite how to explain this. Wow, I hope this works because it's pretty epic.
Well, as you can see, I had a lot of fun in the field. I'd love to know in the comments, what were your favorite photos? For me, that swallow shot in the mist and also that cormorant shot at the end. Two photos that just put a massive smile on my face and I'm so happy I captured them. All right, so let's break down why I think people are investing in the Micro Four Thirds system. And to me, it's the size, the weight, the value, and the flexibility. Those four features make this kit very, very attractive. And I've gone on about size and weight and how that impacts on your joy in the field. And our joy in the field is one of the most important things we need to consider. We need to be having fun, and this kit is the epitome of fun because it's quite light, it's very flexible, and the size of it's quite small. This lens here, 100-400, and as we know, these Micro Four Thirds have a 2x crop, which gives us a 200-800 full frame equivalent field of view. If I wanted that on a full frame, I've got it here. Here's my 200-800 on my R5, and if you look at them side by side, there's no comparison whatsoever. I think this is 3 kilos, and I think this is under 2 kilos. So you can see why people are gravitating towards this. Of course, there's differences, and I'll go over them a bit later. I'm just pointing out why I think people love the Micro Four Thirds system. In terms of value, the bodies offer so many features for their price, it's incredible. They're almost like a pro body at a much cheaper price. And for those reasons, I think that's why people are gravitating towards this. What would be really helpful is if all Micro Four Thirds owners watching this could jump down to the comments and just share with us what kit you currently use, why you chose Micro Four Thirds, what you love about it, and if you can, share maybe the cons, what's some of the weaknesses. If you can do that, any prospective owners can jump down there and hear from you. Existing owners are often the best source for accurate information about any sort of system, so thank you in advance for doing that. And I think those strengths I mentioned outweigh the potential downsides of this system, that being its low light performance, the lower megapixels you get, and the depth of field. You don't get the same buttery smooth backgrounds as you do on full frame. And I want to be very clear here that I don't want this video to be a debate saying full frame's better than Micro Four Thirds or vice versa. There's not one system or combo that is perfect. Us as users have different needs. So what's best for me might be different from you, and Micro Four Thirds clearly fits the bill for a lot of people and are very happy with it. We have a choice, and that's a great thing. And this video is about promoting the good things about Micro Four Thirds. And I got a comment on my last video that explains this perfectly. So Alan left me a comment. He went to Africa for 3 weeks and he took 2 kits with him. He had the Canon R5 and RF 100-300 2.8, and he also had the OM system OM1 Mark II and the Pro lens, the 150-400. He actually used the OM system 80% of the time. He said he only reached for his Canon gear in very low light. When it was low light, he used the advantage of the 2.8 aperture and that 100-300. But he said for everything else, he went with the Olympus kit, and I asked him why was that? And he said it was just the flexibility of that Pro lens. He said he had 300mm to 1000mm full frame equivalent, and that was just a massive benefit to change his composition, and he just much preferred the weight and the portability of that kit. So as you can see, there's different kits for different circumstances, and I think that mirrors my personal experience as well. If I want the very best quality, I'll reach for my R5 and my 500 f4. But if I just want to have fun, I'm reaching for lighter kits, zoom lenses. So it really comes down to what you're shooting, what you're going for, and then you just choose the kit that's appropriate for that. So let's have a chat about my in-field experience with the different OM system gear I used. The first thing was the 150-400 Pro lens, and I have to say that is one of the best zoom lenses I have ever used. The actual experience was fantastic, and it's very hard to fault. So why was it so good? Well, the lens is a Pro lens, so it has the highest level of glass and construction available. I'll list on the screen here all the different elements it's got, all the coatings on the glass. As a result, the images you get from this lens are crystal sharp. It's one of the sharpest lenses I've ever used. Even with converters, it performed well. You will never have an issue with sharpness whatsoever. The lens has got extremely good weather sealing, and credit to OM Systems, they're one of the only brands that actually lists the rating, meaning it can withstand light, rain, sweat, and other situations where water may drip onto the device vertically. The lens also has an incredible 1.3 meter minimum focus distance throughout the range. So even with the converter at 500mm, if we can get close to that subject, it's going to make it much, much bigger with lots of detail. So that's amazing. Another credit is OM Systems have Arca Swiss built into the lens foot. I go on and on about it. Why Canon don't do it is just beyond me. OM System does it, so credit to them. You don't have to buy an aftermarket foot. The other great thing about the lens is it's an internal zooming lens, which means it's very quick. The throw's great. Unlike these externals, which can take a little bit more effort, I love internal zooming lenses. The actual weight of it, it's under 2 kilos. The entire working weight with the body was around 2.6 kilos. This Canon around 3. so I could hand hold it all day. But the image stabilization of that lens and the camera, I think it's up to 6 stops at the long end, which is incredible. And I must admit, in the field, it was kind of like magic. As I'm looking through the viewfinder with AF engaged, that it was so steady, and the lens has a built-in teleconverter. So as we're shooting, we're at 400mm. If we want a little bit more reach, we just push down the converter and we go out to 500mm. The lens is a 4.5 aperture lens throughout the range, so it's very fast. With the converter, it goes to 5.6. But just remember, with those apertures, whilst it's 4.5, the depth of field will look like f9 on a full frame. So you won't quite get those out of focus backgrounds. But for me, that wasn't a major issue. So in terms of the actual design and performance, it's extremely hard to fault. If you're not aware, I did a video in the field with this lens, which you can check out. And if you look at the comments on that video, there's a lot of people who own this lens and they absolutely love it. So what is the price? OM Systems have priced this lens at $7,500 US, or around 10,500 Australian. That makes it a very big investment and one of the more expensive zoom lenses on the market. And I know a lot of you are probably going, oh, that's so much money for a micro four thirds lens. And whilst it is high, we have to remember it is a pro lens. And for some reason, companies seem to charge a premium for pro zoom lenses. So OM Systems is not unique in pricing a pro zoom lens so high. I guess people are always going to comment and say, well, you can pick up the Canon 200-800, the Sony 200-600. A lot of these lenses are under 2,000, and that's true. However, there are differences between the lenses, of course. This is a pro lens, so you're going to expect extremely high quality. I do wish there was a middle ground, but it is what it is. The price is $7,500. And for those that have bought it, they're extremely happy. When it comes to investing in these pro lenses, I know when I bought my 500, I couldn't believe how much money I was about to spend on a lens. But 10 years later, I've forgotten about the pain of buying it, and I've had the pleasure of using it for all these years. And most of you will be very, very similar. It's a big investment, but if you're going to be using it all the time and you want the very best lens, that 150-400 is it. So is there anything I wasn't happy about with the lens? It's hard to find anything, but I do wonder why it's a 1.25 converter and not a 1.4 converter. I think I would have preferred it to have a built-in 1.4 just to give you that little bit more reach. I'm suspecting they wanted to keep the aperture at 5.6 perhaps, or they knew people would be able to use a 1.4 in addition. So just let me know in the comments, would you have preferred a 1.4 or are you happy with the 1.25? Now, if that 150-400 is outside your budget, OM Systems do offer the much more affordable 100-400. It's around $1,500 US for the second version. This is the first version, and this is on sale at the moment for $999, which is pretty good value. So this is 100-400, meaning 200-800 full frame equivalent, and it's an external zooming lens. Again, it has the built-in Arca Swiss. It's got image stabilization, the latest version. What are the differences? It's got IS sync, slightly better image stabilization, slightly different collar design, and it weighs slightly less. But fundamentally, optically, I believe they're identical. They look virtually identical, and you can see on the screen here, the only real differences are the colors of the zoom ring and the manual focus ring. So if you own the first version, the second version in theory should have identical performance in terms of image quality. So this one still offers quite a lot of value for the price. And as you saw at the beginning of this video, my in-field experience was just a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed myself and took lots of good photos. I want to be completely honest, when I started looking at the photos on my computer, I noticed instantly that they weren't critically sharp. There was something not quite right with the lens. All the images were just lacking the critical detail I would expect and have gotten from this 100-400. I'll share a shot with you. This is a wood duck in beautiful light. The subject's large. This should have really good detail. And when I zoom in, it's just missing that fine detail. You can download this file below and have a look for yourself. And I'm not sure exactly why that is. I suspect the lens, it is a brand new lens that I got from OM System. I think it's just slightly off. It's either needs calibration or there's something not quite right. And I did some tests back here in my backyard where I compared this original version to the second version side by side, and it's hard to see on YouTube. I could see a difference. The original one was just sharper for me, and they should be identical. And here's a shot of a scarlet robin I took with the original lens, which is more than sharp enough, and that's what I would expect from this lens. So I did reach out to OM Systems. I sent them the raw files and sent the lens back, and I'm awaiting feedback. I'll put a comment below if they do respond to me. Now, I don't expect the lens to be as sharp as the Pro lens. And if I compare the 150-400 to the version 2 that I got, the difference is crazy. There's such a stark contrast. It shows just how sharp that Pro lens is, but I think it shows that there was something not quite right. And when I compare the Pro lens to this first version, they are still quite different, but they're not as bad as before. I think we just need to be conscious this is a $1,500 lens. It's very versatile, but it's not the sharpest lens I've ever used. And it reminds me of my Canon, to be honest. Like this 200-800 is not the sharpest Canon lens I own. However, it's the versatility, flexibility, and fun I have with it which makes me shoot. It's sharp enough, and I think that's the key. If it's sharp enough, I'll definitely use it. It's only when you're pixel peeping that you'll really see these major differences. So don't write this lens off just because it's not as sharp as others. It's still very, very versatile. Of interest, fellow YouTuber Fabian actually did use the 100-400. He's got some shots on his channel. I'll link to the video below so you can check that out for another opinion on that lens. I'd love to hear in the comments from any owners of the version 2 100-400. How's it performing to you? Was it any different to your first version? What's your overall experience? I'd love to know. All right, so let's have a look at a comparison between the R5 and the 200-800 and the OM System OM1 Mark II and the 150-400. What you'll see when we look at the screen is that they both have the same field of view. Remember, 400mm looks like 800mm, and that proves my point here. They look identical. The ratio is different due to the different sensor size, but the size of the subject and the depth of field is virtually identical. Of course, there's going to be some slight differences. The OM system is sharper to my eye, but the R5 is going to be bigger when we zoom into 100% because we've got 45 megapixels versus 20. So that is an advantage for the R5. However, if we engage the teleconverter, we now go to 500mm. You can see that the subject is definitely bigger. And when we zoom in, it's getting much closer, and that OM Systems again has a sharpness advantage. If we compare the 200-800 to the 100-400, we can see, I believe that they're very similar in terms of sharpness. It's just the Pro lens makes these ones look a lot less sharp, I think. And I want to be very clear, these comparisons aren't really proving anything. They're just for you to have a look at the photos yourself and have an understanding of how Micro Four Thirds differs to full frame. There's so many other factors involved in terms of image quality and what happens in the field. So just take it as that, as a simple comparison. Now, some of you are probably wondering how sharp is that Pro lens with a converter. I put the 1.4 on and I'm blown away by how sharp it is. It's kind of incredible, the performance of that lens, even with a converter. So I would have no issue using the converter whatsoever. Now, in terms of the body, I haven't really talked about the body all that much, but what are the main differences between the OM1 and the OM1 Mark II? As I mentioned earlier, the sensor is identical. The only difference is they've increased the memory capacity inside the new body. They've added graduated ND filters live. They've changed a couple of the buttons. Apparently they've improved the image stabilization. They've improved the AI inside the camera for tracking, for autofocus, but largely the bodies are very, very similar. So I think if you own the OM1, unless you want that extra memory and some of those other improvements, I think this original body actually offers really good value, especially secondhand. You're getting a really capable camera for that money. And I do have to admit, it's the autofocus of this camera which really does impress me, especially with the Pro lenses. I think it's that extra depth of field we get on Micro Four Thirds which assists the camera in locating the subject for flying. And I was very happy with this banking shot of a swallow I got. It's nice and wide. We can see the trees in the background. These swallows were just flying around and this camera picked it up. So it's kind of incredible how well that performs. So if you love bird and flight, I think you'll be happy with the performance of this body. Fundamentally, I think Micro Four Thirds offers people a nice light package. They can have a lot of fun. It's for people that don't want to be lugging around really big lenses anymore. And for that, it excels. Is any combo perfect? No, there's still some downsides. If you shoot in really low light situations, perhaps faster full frame is for you. If this is something that interests you, perhaps you could rent the gear, try it out. I've had a lot of fun with it. I'd like to thank OM Systems Australia who reached out to me and have provided me this gear. I have sent it back already. They didn't pay me any money. I just had fun using it. If they want to send me more gear in the future, I'm more than happy to try it. And if I reflect on the images I actually captured, I couldn't be happier. Like, I had a lot of fun. On that first day, those kangaroo images I got, I was just so happy with them. The backlit kangaroo and the mother. And then we had the nice sunset shots. Overall, a wonderful time. And then on the second day, that swallow shot, as I mentioned, in that cormorant. And that's what it comes down to, is I just had a lot of fun using it. So, and I'm sure you will as well. If you enjoyed this video, obviously give it that thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Jump down to the comments. We have a wonderful community. There's going to be lots of people posting about their Micro Four Thirds experience, and we'll get a conversation going. And until the next video, happy birding, take care, see you later.